Yet here we are today, and we are expected to believe that judiciary Republicans are putting forward real solutions to modernize and fix our immigration system. My Republican colleagues are trying to take us back to the failed, illegal, and immoral policies of the Trump administration. Former President Trump's radical, inhumane, and racist immigration actions weakened the U.S. economy, undermined our moral standing in the world, and did not make us any safer. His erratic approach also failed to stop the inflow of migrants while it trampled on American values. But incredibly, some of the proposals put forward by my colleagues actually go further than what the Trump administration even attempted to do. The bill before us today would completely gut our asylum system, take away protections for vulnerable children fleeing for their lives, destroy our economy, indefinitely detain children, make the situation at the border even worse. And that's just for starters. Immigration reform is a complex problem that requires comprehensive solutions, and an enforcement-only strategy simply doesn't work. Democrats have put forward real proposals, and we stand ready to work with serious Republicans to pass meaningful solutions. Democrats take this complex humanitarian crisis seriously. Our proposals address the root causes of migration, improve border security, and create additional legal pathways for people to enter the United States lawfully. But Republicans have chosen a narrow path that imposes extreme pain and hardship on the most vulnerable people while doing nothing to actually solve the problem. I would ask my Republican colleagues to heed the advice of one of their own, Representative Tony Gonzalez, who represents 42% of the U.S.-Mexico border and who said of these bills, quote, "If they try to jam them through, they're going to fail on the floor, so probably best to get it fixed ahead of time than see it go down in burning flames on the House floor," close quote. I encourage my colleagues to oppose this wrong-headed bill, and I ask my Republican colleagues to go back to the drawing board. If you do, Democrats stand ready to work with you. I thank the chairman for yielding, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Without objection, all of their opening statements will be included in the record. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. McClintock, for the purpose of offering an amendment in the nature of a substitute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment in the nature of a substitute makes technical changes to the bill.
You have an amendment at the desk.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have an amendment at the desk.
Clerk will report the amendment.
Amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 2640 offered by Mr. McClintock.
Without objection, the amendment in the nature of a substitute will be considered as read and shall be considered the base text for the purposes of amendment. The chair recognizes Mr. McClintock to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment makes technical changes to the bill. It adds a section to the bill repealing 2 Biden administration Department of Labor regulations that place additional burdens on agricultural employers who are trying to do the right thing and use the H-2A program instead of using illegal workers. I'd urge my colleagues to support the ANS, and I yield the balance of my time to a man who's been the driving force in Congress for border security and immigration reform, and in my opinion, an unsung hero, Mr. Biggs.
I thank the gentleman, and I appreciate his comments, but I also appreciate all of his effort and hard work on this bill and with regard to the ANS as well.
Welcome back to Conservative News, where we expose the hypocrisy of the left and bring you the hard-hitting truth. Today, we're talking about how Congressman Jerry Nadler ran for cover when challenged by Representative Andy Biggs to actually visit the border. That's right. Another Democrat refusing to face the consequences of their disastrous policies. Now, let's break this down. Democrats, like Nadler, love to criticize Republican efforts to secure the border, but when given the chance to see the crisis firsthand, they run and hide. Why? Because they know their weak policies have completely failed. Meanwhile, Representative Biggs, who has been to the border countless times, just shared shocking details. Illegal migrants, smuggled by cartels, are pouring into our country. Families are paying traffickers to be brought across, knowing they'll be released under Biden's reckless policies. And what is the left doing? Calling real solutions immoral while they allow cartels to exploit women and children.
You know, the border is overrun. And I want to tell you about my experience back at the border again just last week, because I go often. I grew up in a border congressional district. So we were driving along the Tohono O'odham Reservation that has 62 linear miles of the Arizona-Mexico border. Just last Thursday, we'd been down to the Bamry Wash and check out the bridge that was there. That the first time that is a big wide wash, gets filled with water. It's used frequently by human traffickers and drug smugglers. And they built a bridge over it. It's great, but it's only about 6 feet high. So the first big rain they had washed over the bridge so that CBP couldn't use it during the rain. That was odd. So we moved from the Bamry Wash and we went over to the San Miguel Gate, where you frequently will have, that's where the groups in the Tucson sector come. They come to the San Miguel Gate. And we were checking that out again, and then we're moving along the border road. And as we drove along the border road, I could see about 250 yards ahead of us, three small children playing in the road. Now, mind you, we're on the reservation, so I thought maybe these are reservation children, although we were in the middle of nowhere, really in the middle of nowhere. And as we got closer, we saw all of these people begin to emerge from the high desert shrubs and scrub that were there. And we stopped and talked to them because we had to wait for the Border Patrol now to come. We had to alert them. There's no signal. We had to stand on the cars to get signals so they call. And what we found is there were 21 individuals there. There was a family from Chiapas. Where are you going? He says, I'm heading to the Carolinas. I'm going to be a roofer. He and his wife and their 5-month-old baby. An individual lady, 2 single adult women traveling on their own, 2 other single adult women with children, and then 1 other putative family unit, which raised suspicions not just with me, but also with the Border Patrol agent who was there. Why were they coming? Because they knew they were going to be released into the United States. In fact, when I asked the Border Patrol agent, but by the way, the reason we got so many agents there because they're stretched thin on this rather remote section. They finally got there. We said, how long before these individuals are going to be released into America and go to the interior where they want to go, which Washington State, Austin, Texas? Why in the world did you come to the Tucson sector instead of El Paso sector? Because the cartels brought us here. We went to Caborca, a Sonoran town of about 60,000 people, whose most famous resident is Miguel Quintaro, a famous drug lord allied with the Sinaloa cartel. How much did you pay? 75,000 pesos a person on average. They were brought to that location. They were dropped off south of the border, a 2-hour walk in remote desert circumstances in 95-degree-plus weather. A 10-year-old boy wearing Huarache sandals. The coyotes brought him there. They walked for 2 hours, and then they waited for 2 hours until we happened to come along. That's what the Biden policies have brought. And you talk to them, and they're here because of the Biden policies. Chiapas, Zapotec, Merida. Those are the states they came from. This bill goes a long way to restoring humanity. Cruel and heartbreaking, this bill, Mr. Ranking Member? You should have been there. This bill must pass. I yield.
Gentleman yields back. Who seeks recognition?
I do.
The gentleman from California is recognized for 5 minutes.
The bottom line is this. We have a crisis at our border. Republicans are fighting for real solutions, but Democrats like Nadler don't even have the guts to face reality. They'd rather sit in Washington and play politics while America suffers. We need strong leadership, not career politicians dodging accountability. What do you think? Should Nadler be forced to visit the border and see the mess he's defending? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real news. The mainstream media won't show you,